wanted to do another vlog this morning for the vlog series that I'm doing, but I wanted to talk about something a little bit different. I wanted to talk about my children's perspective of all of this. I think that's something that people have overlooked, is that they want to do what's best for my children, but they don't try to put themselves in my children's shoes. They're putting themselves in their own biased positions. Obviously, my children have lived with us their entire lives, and they have not been isolated from the outside world as people try to convince you of, or whatever, have tried to convince people of. My children are out and about, interact with people all the time. They've lived in a real house and blah, blah, blah. But here's the thing, is that when CPS took them, my children knew that they weren't abused. My children knew that they weren't neglected. My children knew that they're cared for and that they're loved. So when this happened, it was very hard for them to understand what was going on and why it was happening. Especially the younger ones who, Lucas, I still see effects of this trauma. Being taken from your family for 8 weeks is traumatic. I don't care who you are or what situation you're in, it is traumatic. Even more so when you're being torn not only from your parents, but they were torn from each other. That in and of itself is extremely emotionally abusive. To do that to children who aren't in any danger. To continue that, the court case still being open for family court is extremely stressful, not only for us as parents, but for my children, who wonder every time we go to court if they're going to be taken again, because they know we're not doing anything wrong. We know that everything is fine. They know this, but they also know the courts don't know, or the courts don't care, or whatever it is that took them in the first place. If they can take them once without justification, they can take them again without justification. So this is something my children deal with every day this case is open. And I don't think anyone takes this into consideration when they try to persecute my family, when they try to find some reason to justify the taking of them. They don't think about that. These children know the truth. So no matter what side of the bench you're on, or what side of the support group you're on, that is something that is real for these children. Then you add into it the criminal activity, the criminal accusations, the goats at large, and the composting issue we had to go to court for, and most recently with Quentin. My children know that these are all false allegations. My children know these things, and you can't make them not know that. So when they see the justice system working in the manner that it has, I'm not sure what you expect them to think, or who you expect them to trust. People say that I brainwash my kids into being anti-government. My kids are raised as we raise them to question everything. They're raised to question the government, and when they see something that's not appropriate, we discuss current events, we discuss local events, we discuss, personal events. If they see something that's not right, they know it needs to be rectified. Whether it be issues in government politics or whatnot. And so they know to question authority when it doesn't sit well with what they already know to be true in their hearts. We talk about things such as police misconduct, police brutality. It's on the news. We see it every day. If you pay attention to any media source, you see it. We talk about those incidences. We talk about how laws are being perverted for the benefit of some and not all. How the Constitution is being ripped apart. We talk about those things. And so my children see and understand these things that are going on. And I understand that some people think that the way that we do things are wrong and that they're trying to save my children, but you're not helping them. You're not. You know, people are upset because they think I'm brainwashing my kids to hate government and to hate law enforcement, which is totally not true. My children have formed their own opinions of these things based on their own experiences. It has nothing to do with what we've convinced them of. And even with my older teenagers, there are religious and political views that we have that aren't the same. And we allow them to have their own independent views of those things. But that's one thing that's consistent, is my children are learning this distrust for the agencies that are supposed to be protecting them, and they're not. And I mentioned the other day, you know, the courts want to do more testing on the children. That means leaving the case open for longer. We're coming up on 2 years now. I'm not sure how much longer my children are going to tolerate this. I'm not sure how much longer this is going to be to where anyone can justify these actions. There's been nothing substantiated other than the fact that we didn't register for homeschool, which actually has nothing to do with education or not. Having a driver's license doesn't make you a good or bad driver. It just means you've registered with the state. It has nothing to do with anything else. And the same thing with homeschool. It doesn't matter if you're registered or not. It doesn't mean your kids aren't educated because you didn't register. And because you don't teach conventional lessons doesn't mean your children are ignorant. And it really bothers me that that's kind of all wrapped into one. Oh, well, they homeschool, they unschool, so the children must not be learning, when that's the complete opposite of what's going on. And I just think that people need to start thinking about how this affects my children, how they understand things, because they are here. This is their life. And people are telling them that what they're doing is wrong, what they're thinking is wrong, and how they feel is wrong, because it doesn't fit into their little box. And that's not right. It's not right to do it to adults, and it's certainly not right to do it to children. It's a bully tactic, and it needs to be addressed, which is why I blogged today. I'm sure you guys will have comments and opinions and whatnot, which are welcome in the comments. And this will be posted on YouTube, so we have it there as well. But that was just something I wanted to express this morning. It was on my mind all night. And you have a blessed day.